Okay, let's take a look at the lefts, right? Watch Jennifer, watch your arm, right? Watch how it buckles at the elbow. Gotta try and think about moving the body in front instead of pulling the paddle back with the bottom hand. And let's see, okay. First couple strokes, not bad. Let's take a look at seat 1, Elaine. Yeah, pretty good. Good catch right here. We're building up speed, right? Set the blade. Looking a lot more positive, buried up front, which is nice. Yeah, keep it up. Right. Carry. Right, watch your exit carry. Try and swing the paddle around, yeah? Look how it's a little bit of lifting. So you take a look at both your shoulders. Boom, it comes up. Right, try and twist the paddle out of the water. For Jennifer, right, like I said before, a little bit pulling back with the bottom hand. Tammy, top hand needs to be a little further away from your head. So, right, it's just a little too close, so you end up pulling back with, like you watch how your elbow, the bottom elbow, really buckles really quickly, is because you're pulling back with the bottom hand. So you got to try and put your weight on it, get deep, lean on the paddle. So you watch it's really quick because it's basically all arm, bottom arm paddling. Alright, let's take a look at Andy. Yeah, looking good. Missing a bit of the catch, Andy, but you got really nice frame. You look really good in the air. You just got to try and get the blade buried. Just a little sooner. Right, get it in a little quicker, right? Got a little slight pause up front at the catch, right? Get in a little quicker. There's a bit of a timing breakdown at Tammy right there, right? So behind Andy, but looking good, Andy. Nice frame, right? A good rotation. Just missing that catch, right? You want to get a little buried, just a little sooner. You got Peter behind. Right, let's take a look at Peter. Right, top hand needs to be a little further away from your head as well. Right, you gotta get that paddle buried with that outside shoulder. Right now it's the top hand coming down, bottom hand pulling back. So you're only fully buried when the paddle is at a neutral angle, right? So try and get it buried when it's positive. And Peter behind Peter. Right, just reaching a little too far, Peter. Just try enter about 2 inches closer than what you're normally used to, but fully bury it. Right, so you're still fully extended, but reach into the water, right? Just overreaching, just a little too far. Let's take a look at Jennifer. Right, so Jennifer, watch you enter. Right, pulling back with the bottom hand. So that's where most of the exertion is happening in your stroke, Jennifer, is just the pulling back of the bottom hand. All right. So you got to try and make sure your bottom arm must be in tension. Right, once it's in compression, such as right when you're doing a bicep curl, that's where your arm's in compression. Not only does it make you more tired, or you've lost that connection. It's not possible for you to lean onto the paddle. Right. So really important that you don't want to pull the paddle back. Tammy, same for you. You don't want to pull the paddle back with the bottom arm. Right. The tension you should feel in the bottom arm is caused by your weight leaning on the paddle and you swinging the boat forward, swinging the inside hip forward. Okay, let's take a look. What else do I see? All right, see if you can get just a little deeper, Elaine. But you know, you're looking really nice. Positive angle up front. Just try to get a little deeper. Put a little bit more weight on the blade. All right, Tammy, just same thing. You gotta take a leap of faith. Put your weight on the blade over the water. Establish the support, right? It's because you're pulling the paddle back, so it looks really, it looks really short. It's because you're pulling the paddle back. Right, so just a little more water time. Set the blade in the water, lean on it, and that's how you have a longer water time, right, with more traction. Okay, let's take a look at Randy. Right, see Randy, look how high your top shoulder is. Alright, you want the shoulder to come around, have some lower body rotation. Right, so remember, you want to try to keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. Keep it low, keep the top shoulder low and relax. Get that rotation, get the top shoulder to rotate around, and then set the blade with the outside shoulder. Randy's got nice exit though. Just a top shoulder, right? Really aggressive top shoulder. The left sides look pretty good for the most part. Right. Jaume, let's take a look at Jaume. Right, top hand should be a little further away from your hit, Jaume. At the catch, right? So I think it's also another case of overreaching, right? Whenever the top hand's a little too close to the head, it just means you're reaching too far with the bottom hand, right? So don't overreach, guys. Come in about 2 inches closer than what you're normally used to, right? The objective is to set the blade in the water, plant it there, lean on it, right? We don't want to pull the paddle back, right? Remember, we want to swing the boat forward. We want to move up towards the paddle. All right, so same for Tammy actually. All right, come in closer but deeper. All right, so you just gotta work on your entry, work on the catch. It's not easy, right? Because the paddle. When you're trying to work on a catch, chances are that it's gonna plop at the entry. But this is where you got to try and get better at, right, at the entry. Right, so don't reach as far as you can with the bottom hand and then pull the paddle back, right? Because that's just really tiring on the shoulders. And eventually you wear out, you get tired, you get tight, right? But left side looking good, moving pretty well together. Maybe just a little bit off around Tammy and Andy, but ever so slightly, right? Moving well. Let's take a look at Jaume again. Yeah, not bad. All right, try and twist the paddle out, Jaume. Okay, so just watch yourselves paddle here in slow motion. Watch what you're doing. All right, Peter, watch the head, yeah? Watch your neck. Don't look down, just look up. All right, don't look up and down. Just look straight ahead. All right, because it is very all right, Peter, right? Paddling is very shoulder intensive, very upper body intensive, Remember, the upper body is just there to stabilize, right? You want to try and keep the upper body quiet. It's the lower body that you want to be really active, right? So you want to think about setting the blade in the water with the upper body, and you want to move your lower body towards the paddle. Right, and this goes for Randy as well. Both Peters and Randy. All right. You gotta try and keep the upper body a little more quiet. Right, you set the blade in the water, and then you want to move the lower body towards the paddle. Alright, so Randy, just kind of watch where the tip of your paddle touches the surface and where you're fully buried. Alright, so the tip of the paddle touches here, but you're only fully buried when the paddle's almost negative. Alright, let's take a look at Peter's catch. Alright, so Peter, behind Peter, right, there's a lot of top arm, right? Your top arm kind of just pulls down and towards your core, right? So you watch how your elbow is really low. Remember, you want to rotate, right? Right now there's a lot of top arm driving down, right? You want to think about setting the blade and moving